Let's go live back to the Prime Minister campaigning in Perth.
Investing in our future, or a coalition of cuts and chaos. That's what's at stake between now and Saturday. And can I say that here at this school, I want to thank the boys and girls here for the wonderful warm welcome. It really is uplifting. These kids give you hope for the future, like every time I go into a childcare centre. But I'm also reminded of what we're doing. In early education, we're making a difference with the 3-day guarantee for cheaper childcare that the coalition have said they'll get rid of. They've said that they'll bring back the activity test that makes it harder, particularly for disadvantaged parents, whether that be a single parent or people from disadvantaged positions, to get access to childcare. We'll invest in childcare infrastructure as well, something that the coalition have never done and have not said that they support. When it comes to education, of course, the government that I was proud to be a part of under Kevin Rudd and Julia Gillard instituted a review of what's the funding that every student needs to be their best. And that was put in place, and then the coalition came into government in 2013, and the 2014 budget ripped $30 billion out of education and $50 billion out of health funding. And that has meant that a wasted decade has been there of not delivering that better and fairer schools funding that Australian young people deserve. Well, we'll deliver $16.5 billion over a decade in the agreement that has been signed by every state and territory government. And I want to give credit to Roger Cook as the WA Premier for being the first Premier to sign up to that agreement, making an enormous difference. It means an extra $2.4 billion for schools here in Western Australia. We're investing in these young people here. We're supporting the teachers in the work that they do. I noticed today we've seen another backflip from Peter Dutton over school curriculum. Now, I make this point. The current school curriculum was put in place by the former government, not us. But they've looked for culture wars in every corner that they can find one. Every dark corner is where they're looking. And here, having said that they were going to rail against the curriculum, that it wasn't appropriate, now they're saying they won't touch the curriculum. So it's not clear. But if you can't keep a policy for 3 days, if you're going to an election saying we'll tell you what the cuts are going to be after polling day, which is what Peter Dutton has explicitly said during the debates, then how can you be trusted to have a mandate over the next 3 years? What we have done is put out very clearly our propositions before the Australian people. We haven't done it at the last minute, just during an election campaign. We've done it over a period of time, including going way back to last year, which is when we announced our 20% of HECS debt and when we announced our free TAFE. I want these young people to be able to go to TAFE or to university in their future years. We'll invest in it. We know that as part of their costings, they are saying where some of the cuts will be. They're saying the cuts will be getting rid of free TAFE. They're saying it'll be getting rid of the Housing Australia Future Fund that'll provide for more housing supply. They're saying they'll get rid of the National Reconstruction Fund. That's a part of a future made in Australia, working hand in hand with Roger's plan for a future made in WA. But that's before you also get to the $600 billion that they'll need for their nuclear fantasy. Peter Dutton has 2 days left to visit a nuclear site. There's one here in Collie. I've been there twice. I went there last year when there was a whole lot of dirt and levelling of the grounds in order to put in a large-scale battery that's being exceeded now in size here in WA in a couple of other places. And now we visited there just last week. I'm not quite sure how he thinks this nuclear fantasy is going to work, because the battery, of course, is located in a place where it can connect up with the transmission lines that are currently connected to the coal-fired power station that will close in 2027. They sat back and watched 24 out of 28 coal-fired power stations announce their closure when they were in government. They announced 23 different energy plans and didn't land one. We've got one plan, we've landed it. It's for renewables, backed by gas, backed by hydro and backed by batteries. If we are backing Australia's future, they're sacking Australian public servants who provide services and advice, including, of course, in Veterans Affairs. There's a lot at stake in this election as we go forward. I'll continue to campaign over the next couple of days. We will visit every state in the Commonwealth, but there's no better place to start than in engaging with some of our youngest Australians, because they certainly are our future and we want to build a better future for them. I'll hand to the Premier, then we're happy to take some questions.